Before I start, do me a favor. Turn down the lights, put your headphones on, and watch this till the end. What you're about to see is the first of two parts. And the last moments of this one are the only proof I have that I'm still me.
My family started acting weird 3 days ago. Not weird like arguing more or forgetting stuff. I mean weird like actors who forgot how real people are supposed to move. It began with my mom burning dinner. She never burns anything. She's one of those people who can just eyeball it, and somehow everything turns out perfect. But that night, the kitchen filled with smoke. The alarm shrieked, the pan was black, chicken completely ruined. I ran in, coughing. "Mom! Hey, Mom, it's burning!" She just stood there, still as a statue, staring at the smoking pan. Her lips were pulled into this strange, stiff smile like she'd practiced it in the mirror but never checked if it looked natural. Then, with the alarm still screaming, she turned to me. "Dinner is ready," she said in the flattest, calmest voice I've ever heard from her. "Please sit at the table." I stared at her. "Mom, it's burned." She blinked slowly, like her brain needed a few extra seconds to process my words. Then she tilted her head a fraction too far to the side, smile never changing. "Dinner," she repeated, "is ready." That's when my dad walked in, suit jacket still on, tie crooked like he'd put it on in the dark. He didn't even glance at the smoking pan or the alarm. He just crossed the kitchen in these weird, precise steps and pressed the alarm button. The room fell silent. He turned to us with the same stiff, plastic smile as my mom. "How was everyone's day?" he asked, voice oddly cheerful. "Was it satisfactory?" Satisfactory? Mom and Dad talk like normal people. Well, they used to. They say stuff like, "How was school?" and "I'm exhausted," and "Let's order pizza." They don't talk like robots reading from a script. I laughed nervously. "Okay, seriously, what is this? Are you guys pranking me?" They just looked at me. Not confused, not amused, just looked. Their smiles didn't move, but something behind their eyes did, like they were both waiting for a cue. "Please," Mom said, "sit at the table." I glanced at the pan. The food was inedible. The metal was warped. Mom reached for it with her bare hand. "Stop!" I grabbed her wrist. Her skin was hot from the heat, but she didn't flinch. She just stared at my hand on her arm, then raised her eyes to mine. "You are early," she said. I froze. "What?" "You came in early," she repeated. "The scene is not ready." I let go of her and took a step back. "What scene?" Her smile finally broke, not into a normal expression, but into something wrong, a glitch, like a mask slipping. Her lips trembled, then reset into the same fake curve. "Please," she said again. "Sit at the table." I didn't. That's when my little sister Emma walked in. She's 10. She usually runs everywhere, bangs into stuff, laughs too loud. But now she walked, slowly, carefully, like she was balancing a book on her head or trying not to mess up a dance routine. She sat at her chair, folded her hands, and looked at the empty plate in front of her. "Isn't this nice?" she said, in that same flat tone. "Family dinner." I watched all three of them. The burned pan on the stove, the faint smoke, the way none of them reacted to any of it. "What is wrong with you guys?" I half shouted. "Seriously, what is this?" All three of them turned their heads toward me at the exact same time. The same angle, the same speed. Like they'd rehearsed it. Dad spoke first. "We are fine," he said. "Please, sit down." I did the only reasonable thing. I grabbed my phone and texted my friend Mark. "Dude, my family is acting like robots. What the F?" I waited for a reply. While watching them, they didn't talk. They didn't eat. They just sat there, smiling at me, as if my sitting down would magically fix everything. Mark finally texted back, "Lol? What do you mean?" I started typing a reply, but something moved in the corner of my vision. Emma blinked. Not a normal blink, but this slow, deliberate, shut open, like someone pressing a button. Her smile dropped for a split second. Her eyes widened. For a tiny, fragile moment, she looked like herself again. Her lips formed one soundless word: run. Then her face snapped back to that same blank smile. "Brother, please, sit." My phone slipped a little in my hand. This wasn't a prank. Something was seriously, horribly wrong.
I didn't eat dinner. Nobody did. They sat at the table until the smoke completely faded, hands folded, backs perfectly straight. I pretended to get a call from Mark and slipped out of the kitchen. None of them turned to look at me as I left. Upstairs in my room, I locked the door. My hands were shaking as I texted Mark a summary of what happened. He sent back a bunch of laughing emojis, then, "Your parents are weird, but not that weird. Maybe they're messing with you, secretly recording for TikTok or something." I almost wanted to believe him. It would have been a relief if a camera crew jumped out of the closet yelling, "You've been pranked!" But there was no crew. Just me, my quiet room, and the faint sound of footsteps downstairs. Rhythmic. Even. Like pacing. I opened my notes app and typed, "Day 1. My family is acting strange." I didn't know why I did that. Maybe I wanted proof later, in case I started doubting myself. Around 10 p.m., I cracked my door open and peeked into the hallway. My parents' bedroom door was open. The light was off. Emma's door was closed. I crept downstairs. The house felt wrong. Not like a different place exactly, but like someone had rebuilt it from memory and messed up the details. The hallway seemed a little too long, the shadows in the corners a little too dark. The family photos on the wall looked staged. Every single picture showed all of us smiling directly at the camera, shoulders squared, eyes too bright. I knew for a fact there used to be candid shots, messy hair, half blinks, mom mid-laugh. I couldn't find any. I made it to the living room. My dad was sitting on the couch, facing the blank TV screen. It wasn't turned on, but faint light flickered across his face like reflections from a show that wasn't playing. "Dad?" I whispered. He didn't answer. I took another step back, heart pounding. His eyes were open, fixed on the TV. His hands were resting on his knees. He looked like a mannequin, placed there to be displayed. "Dad," I said a little louder, "are you awake?" His lips moved. "Hold. for the next line. I took another step back. What next line? His jaw clenched. His eyes rolled slightly, like he was struggling against something I couldn't see. Do not improvise, he forced out. We are not allowed to improvise. Not allowed by who? My voice shook. A shadow moved at the doorway. I jumped, turning around. Mom stood there. Her smile stretched wide, teeth showing. It didn't reach her eyes. You're up late, she said smoothly. You should be in bed. You have school tomorrow. Somehow, that sentence made me more afraid than anything else, because it didn't fit. Tomorrow was Saturday. I don't have school, I said. Mom tilted her head, that eerie, too slow motion again. You have school tomorrow, she repeated. It is written that way. It is written where? I demanded. The script, Dad said behind me. My skin crawled. What script? Mom took a step toward me. Her feet made no sound on the carpet. Please, she said, gentle and wrong at the same time, do not break the illusion for the audience. What audience? I snapped, fear turning to anger. What is wrong with you? This isn't funny. At all once, they both went still. For 3 long seconds, nobody moved. Then Mom's smile fell away like a mask slipping off a hook. Her face went completely blank. No anger, no love, no recognition. Her eyes unfocused, staring through me. Dad's shoulders sagged. His posture collapsed like strings had been cut. Pause, they said in unison. The word was flat and mechanical. The room went dead silent. Even the hum of the fridge in the kitchen seemed to fade away. I swallowed. Okay, I whispered. If this is a joke, you win. I'm freaked out. Stop it. No reaction. I reached for my phone with trembling fingers and flicked on the flashlight, shining it into Mom's face. Her pupils didn't contract. Mom? I whispered. Nothing. I turned the light to Dad. His eyes didn't react either. He just stared straight ahead at the black TV. Pause, they repeated. Except, this time, it wasn't just their voices. The word came from everywhere. From the walls, from the ceiling, from the air itself. Layers of whispers echoing the same command, as if dozens of invisible throats were speaking along with them. Pause. I ran. Back up the stairs, back into my room, slammed the door, locked it, shoved my desk chair under the handle just in case. I pressed my ear to the door. Silence. No footsteps following me. No voices calling my name. I turned and almost screamed. Someone had been in my room. My posters were all aligned perfectly, edges straight, like they'd been measured with a ruler. My backpack, which I had left on the floor, now hung neatly on the back of my chair. My bed was made with crisp, hotel-like corners. And on my desk, right in the center, was a stack of white paper. On top of the stack, in neat, printed letters, Episode 1, The Family That Forgot How to Be Human. Revision 3, Do not improvise. My name was underneath that. Character, Alex.
You've just listened to the first half of this story. If you don't want to miss how it all ends, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you don't miss part 2.